Do men need to be more emotional? This is a very interesting topic that I wanted to discuss because we are living in a modern society and we hear a lot of rhetoric about how men need to be more emotional. But the question is, does society need emotional men? Do women want emotional men? Emotional men are looked at negatively because being emotional is linked to women. Women are often more emotional than men due to their hormones, and studies have even shown that women utilize more areas of the brain that pertain to emotions. And whenever we link female traits with men, they're looked at as weak. And I get it. A woman doesn't want a man who cries more than she does. Women say they want an emotional man, but is that really what they want? No woman wants a man who gets super emotional every time she walks out the door. That type of mild clinginess is kind of cute in girls, but it's annoying when men do it. Also, women don't like sissies. Women like tough guys. Women want to feel safe with their man. If he's unable to act bravely in the face of danger, it's a no-go. I think what women really want when they say they want a guy who is emotional, they want a guy who will open up to them. And only them. See, a man's emotions are sacred to him because if he shares his emotions with other men, or anyone for that matter, he risks being made fun of or being called soft. So when men are vulnerable with women, it shows a high level of trust. And when women get to see that vulnerable side, they feel kind of special. Now, if you're out here just sharing your emotions and deepest thoughts with everyone, they don't care no more. You basically community dick at that point. There's levels to how emotional a man can be with a woman. Another thing with dealing with women is if you guys are both acting off of your emotions, things are going to get out of hand quick. If your lady's feeling emotional, you're expected to be her rock. If she comes home one day talking about quitting her job because it was super stressful, chances are she's coming from an emotional standpoint. It's your job as a man to inject some logic into the equation. Well, if you quit your job, what are you going to do? How are you going to make a living? How about you look for another job before you quit this one? I know this advice isn't just specific to men. Humans in general need to learn how to handle their emotions appropriately. But as I mentioned earlier, women tend to be more emotional than men due to their genetic makeup. So when women are emotional, we can easily brush that off as them being hormonal. But for men, what's their excuse? Just off that alone, men are expected to channel their emotions better than women. As important as it is to express emotions, there are times when you need men to be stoic, not emotional. Think of high stress situations. If a fire broke out in your building, you need to find a way to think clearly. If you're freaking out like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? You or the people around you could get hurt. You have to think, where's the fire coming from? Is there anything to put the fire out with? Where are the exits? If you're the only man in the room, like it or not, people are going to look for you to spring into action. Being decisive is another masculine trait. If your emotions are all over the place, it's hard to make a decision. That's why women can never decide on a place to eat, because their mind and emotions are in a million different places at once. A man's ability to channel his emotions is what makes us better leaders. And if you watch any of my previous content, I talk a lot about men being leaders. Men tend to focus better on one thing at a time, which makes decision making easier for us. It's a very fine line to walk here because men just can't ignore their emotions. If you ask, should men express themselves more? The answer is yes, absolutely. But you can express yourself without being overly emotional. The key here for men is to have emotional intelligence. Meaning being able to communicate your emotions in a healthy and positive way. The only way to do that is by knowing yourself. And this is a tough one because getting to know yourself is a journey all on its own. You first need to be secure with who you are as a person. If you're in a stage of your life where you don't know who you want to be and you're very impressionable, it's going to be hard to get to know yourself because you're being pulled in all different kind of directions. Once you decide who you want to be and come to grips with who you are as a person, now you can decide what I can deal with and what I can't deal with. You have to be real honest about the feelings you're having. Otherwise, you'll end up bottling things in, and that's when things go downhill. Growing up, I was taught by society not to show emotions, and I would just end up bottling things in, but my emotions would come out in other ways. I would get real angry, which is very interesting because getting real angry is also being emotional. But we don't shame men for being angry because that's looked at as being hard. But if you were crying, now you're being looked at as soft. Either way, holding on to things until you cry or burst out in anger is not healthy. It wasn't until I learned how to express myself in a calm and collective manner that I stopped getting so angry and emotional. As far as crying goes, it's okay for men to cry, but we have to realize crying never solved anything. I'm not going to get into when it's okay to cry and when it's not okay to cry. You cry due to being overwhelmed with emotions, and as humans, we get overwhelmed from time to time. It's okay to feel overwhelmed at times, but you shouldn't feel overwhelmed over and over and over again. As a man, you need to channel those emotions. Take a deep breath, meditate, do yoga. The world needs you to be strong, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Find ways to release stress, whether that's working out, therapy, or speaking with a loved one. And when you're talking with someone about your emotions, do so in a calm manner. If you have an issue with someone, speak upon how you feel, not what they did wrong. So to recap, learn who you are, channel your emotions, and learn how to express yourself in a calm, positive manner. Also, avoid things that take you to negative places and avoid people that bring out the worst in you. I make videos like this so we can be the best versions of ourselves, and that's what we all need to strive for. That is all I got for this one. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you thought of the video. What points did you agree with? What points did you disagree with? Leave your comments below and let me know what you thought. And if you got anything out this video, hit that like button. I'm out.